Chris over here at Cover 7. Look, I know I said I wasn't going to do it, but since I'm a gambling degenerate, I'm going to bet on this Army-Navy game. I'm actually kind of excited, to be honest with you guys. We got some football this week. Obviously, we know next week the first round of the college football playoff starts, which I'm pretty pumped about. But with that being said, and before I get into it, I just want to say thank you again, guys, for all the support on the channel over here. Every like, comment, subscription, it goes a long ways. At the end of the day, and I have to say this on every single video, I don't claim to be a college football expert, analyst, insider, or anything like that. I try to give the most unbiased opinion as I can. Bottom line, I'm a college football fan first. I'm a Cornhusker fan second. I know they're dog shit. I get it. Thankfully, I don't have to talk about them much anymore this year. But with that being said, guys, if you really want to help the channel out, give this a like. Hell, let me know down in the comments below who you're taking in this game. This should be a good one. We know the history here. It's been played forever, and it should be a good football game. I watch it every year. It's always fun to watch some old school option football. And with that being said, we'll talk about Army first here. They are actually catching almost a touchdown here at 6.5, key number. Obviously, versus Navy, the over-under set to 38.5. Now, Army this year, if you haven't followed them, they're 6-5. A little bit of a down year here. They started off rough with that loss to Tarleton State. I remember that. Kind of shocked me even. They lost to North Texas and then obviously ECU. They have now won winners out of their 5 out of the last 7, which is pretty goddamn good considering the last time we saw Army play, it was against UTSA. They played pretty well, won that football game. Quarterback Cale Helms, this guy's pretty decent. We know Army, like I mentioned, they like to run the option, right? They're not known for throwing the football. This is old school option style football, which I can appreciate as an old school Husker fan, if you guys know what I mean. Now, Helms, he's actually sitting 23rd in the nation, guys, in rushing yards on the year. He's got over 1,000, which is a lot for a quarterback. He's got 15 rushing touchdowns, which is a ton. He's a huge part of this offense on the ground. We know that. Wide receiver, get this, Noah Short, which is crazy. He's a wide receiver, but if you know what Army does here, I don't think it really matters whether you're a wide receiver or running back. He actually sits second on the team with carries. He's got over 500 yards on the ground this season and is first on the team in receptions, which is kind of cool. Wide receiver Bradley Anderson, I would say, is probably the deep threat here. I've seen this kid play a little bit. He does have the potential to take the top off of defense. So you say what you will here about Army's offense. If you guys know anything about it, they rank okay here. They actually sit 108th in total offense, which isn't great. But as we know, they want to run the football. They are actually 5th in the country in rushing yards per game. They are dead last in passing yards per game, 134. There's only 134 teams in Division 1A. With that being said, though, they've only given 5 sacks up on the year. Why? Because they don't throw the ball a ton. So some of the stats here are a little misleading considering the offense that they run. Now, defensively, they're not too bad. They sit 50th in the country in total defense, 63rd versus the run, 51st versus the pass. They are 126th in the country in total sacks on the year. They don't get to the quarterback. They only got 12 on the season. Now, let's flip it over to Navy here. Look, 2 losses on the year, and this Navy team is pretty damn good. They had high expectations going into this season. They lost to North Texas, which is a pretty damn good team, and then they obviously lost to Notre Dame. Look, their last 2 wins, though, I have been impressed with. This schedule was pretty backloaded this year. They beat South Florida and they beat Memphis. So quarterback Blake Horvath, I'm sure you guys have heard of this guy. He was really good last year. He's just as good this season. He actually sits 28th in the country in rushing yards. Running back Alex Tezeka, I think that's how you say his name. He's solid. He's got over 800 yards on the ground as well. Wide receiver Eli Heinrich, I think that's how you say his name. He's definitely the go-to option here when they do pass the ball, which is rare. He averages actually over 20 yards per catch. He's got 4 touchdowns on the year as well. So, like I said, these 2 teams are very similar. They want to run option football. Navy is very similar to Army in that regard. As far as the offensive ranks go here, Navy actually sits 24th in the country in total offense. They are the number 1 team in the country in rushing offense by a mile. These guys average almost 300 yards per game on the ground, which is kind of crazy. They are 131st, though, in passing yards per game. They are 3rd best in the country in pass pro. When they do go to pass, they protect Horvath pretty damn well, I would say. They, like I said, they don't give up a lot of sacks there. So the defense here for Navy, I would say probably not as good as Army, in my opinion. I could be wrong here. They're a little shaky at times. They sit 92nd in the country in total defense, 58th versus the run. They do struggle versus the pass here. Considering Army doesn't throw the ball, this is actually works out in Navy's favor. They sit 122nd in the country versus the pass. Navy does sit, though, 50th in the country of total sacks. They got 25 on the year. That's not too bad there. All right, while you guys clicked on the video here, look, this is kind of a cool rivalry. This is why I decided to do this game. And not only that, I'm a gambling degenerate, right? They've been playing this game since 1890. Navy actually leads the series all time at 63, 55, and 7. Now, Navy did win this game last year. I remember I took Navy. They won it 31-13. But Army previously had won 6 out of the previous 8. So this rivalry has been pretty competitive the last, I'd say 10 years at least. But look, I like Navy to cover here, guys. Why? Navy's averaging actually 2 yards per carry on the ground on average more than Army. I really like that there. And Navy, in my opinion, is by far, in a way, the more explosive team on offense here. I actually think this game could be very similar to the game that we saw last season. So with that being said, guys, I'm going to lay the points here with Navy. I appreciate all the support over here, guys, and a lot of content's going to be coming out here this weekend and into next week if you're a supporter of the channel. Follow me there. So until then, guys, we'll see you next time.